Is combing your hair a nightmare? Does the sight of hair in your comb frighten you? Well, on this episode of The Good Life, we'll be giving you in-depth information on hair loss, including causes and treatment options. I'm Amita Persaud-Webb and this is The Good Life. Dr. Hyacinth Oates has been a trichologist for over 15 years. She now speaks to us about the causes of hair loss.
A trichologist is one who deals with all matters concerning hair. Hair is an excretory fiber that we produce, and it is, for us as trichologists, it's an indicator, one of our first indicators, that there is something possibly systemic wrong. So it's a signal. We use it as a signal. Look at your hair, look at the scalp, and it is actually speaking to us. It is in line with your nails and your skin. The cosmetologist is one who dresses the hair. The trichologist, if you have a problem, she addresses the problem, finding the cause and making recommendations and offering solutions by promoting health. And that means diet is one of the culprits when it comes to unhealthy hair. Genetic male pattern hair loss is a genetic one. Female pattern hair loss, meaning that they are predisposed to this condition, and you might have other things like stress or diet that triggers it. So, it moves from one phase to another. I can give you an example. In a premenopausal woman, and we're talking about that can be from as early as age 32, but mostly about age 40, you will start a thinning process that you don't even notice. Your stylist did not notice until one day you get up and you realize that, hey, I no longer have the volume of hair that I had a couple of years ago. However, because she's predisposed to hair loss, because genetically she has it on her mother's side of the family or she has it on the father's side of the family, that now becomes a trigger leading to baldness. We have the traction alopecia that you find mostly in young people, right? And that is too much, it's crucial, how they pull the hair so tightly from mothers who are combing hair, and every strand has to be so neat and tight that they start the process of traction alopecia. Then you have alopecia areata. That is a display of hair loss in circular patterns or rectangular patterns. It depends on the type of alopecia areata that it is. The hair actually falls out in round patches, and that can be triggered again by stress, some hormonal issues, or it's really classified as an autoimmune disorder. That means, your body, your cells are fighting, right? And this is how it displays itself. But people with rheumatoid arthritis are people who are suffering from that type of disorder. So alopecia areata can correct itself, anything from the day it started, and it will just appear until 6 months down the line, you will see hair coming back. You have sickle tissue alopecia. That's a scarring alopecia. So say you have an infected follicle, and persons in the salon might not recognize it for what it is, and you go in with a relaxer or a perm or a color, and it only causes more irritation. And that irritation can sometimes lead to permanent hair loss or scarring hair loss, meaning no hair will grow out of that follicle after this. right? And that is some of them. Diffused hair loss is one that I have to mention, because normally this happens with young female, where some contraceptive, when you're starting and when you're coming off it, can trigger diffused hair loss. Stress can. Women who are dieting, not eating properly, they will shed. We just have to find out what type of diffuse it is when we do our microscopic analysis. Male pattern hair loss is the most common. Female pattern hair loss follows. I should really say they're equal when it comes to hair loss. But then diffused is I see a lot of that in the clinic. I see a lot of diffuse because the causes are so varied and wide. So people will come in with the shedding, and it ends up to be breakage. They'll see it all over the place. Hair is very crisp, hair is very dry. And when I see that, I am saying, okay, we know it could possibly be a iron deficiency, and it would make the hair feel that way. And there are other issues that can display in that type of excessive shedding. The most important thing is, if it is identified by your stylist, she can look at it, and if she has the background, then she can say, you know, this is not normal, this is not mechanical, this is not from a relaxer or a color or a perm. She can say, well, Mrs. Brown, you need to see a trichologist, a dermatologist, a medical practitioner, just as long as she doesn't take the responsibility of having that problem there and trying to treat it herself without really knowing what the cause of it is. Because most of the success that we have is just finding the cause and being able to treat it or refer it to the relevant medical practitioners.
We're going to take a break, and when we return,
Black people love bright colors. That's who we are. Hair color on natural hair, the lighter the color becomes, is the more damaging it is to that hair.